Question 1. Given the circumstances, Mr. Alvarez is assigned to rig and lift a 3,800-pound rooftop HVACR unit to the 6th floor of a commercial building. The unit's lifting lugs are asymmetrically located and the condenser coils are mounted on one side, shifting the weight distribution. Despite using properly rated slings during the test lift, the unit begins to tilt severely. Nearby installer suggests just adjusting the sling manually during the actual lift. What should Mr. Alvarez do before proceeding? A. Proceed with the lift while having the installers stabilize the tilt using tag lines. B. Recalculate the center of gravity and adjust the rigging configuration to align with the actual weight distribution. C. Continue lifting slowly while monitoring for further tilt. D. Install counterweights temporarily on the lighter side to achieve visual balance. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. This scenario tests understanding of unbalanced HVAC loads and center of gravity. OSHA 1926.251A 4 and SME 9 require the load to be rigged to prevent shifting, tilt during. A test lift indicates the center of gravity was not correctly accounted for. Manual adjustments during the lift or relying on counterweights violate safe rigging practice. The only compliant solution is to reassess the load geometry and rig accordingly. Stabilizing via tag lines alone does fix the fundamental issue and is unsafe. Question 2. By evaluating a crane's load chart, an operator determines the maximum rated capacity at 45-foot radius is 6,000 pounds. However, during lift, the rigging configuration adds an additional 350 pounds and wind speed increases to 25 miles per hour. The operator is asked to lift 5,900 lb chiller. What should the operator conclude? A. The lift is within limits and can proceed cautiously. B. The wind is the only concern, so wait until it subsides. C. The lift should be aborted. It exceeds capacity when accounting for rigging and environmental conditions. D. Reduce the radius slightly and retry the lift. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926 subpart CC and the load chart stipulate the total load includes rigging weight. At 5,900 pounds plus 350 pounds equals 6,250 pounds, the crane exceeds its rated capacity. Additionally, 25 miles per hour winds further impact stability. The operator must consider all variables, not just the static load weight. Attempting the lift is a critical safety violation. Reducing the radius may not be feasible under load. Only rejecting the lift complies with OSHA and SME standards. Question 3. When analyzing crane components during a daily pre-operation inspection, Thompson notices slight hydraulic fluid seepage around the main boom cylinder, although pressure appears normal and movements are unaffected. Her supervisor instructs her to monitor it for now and proceed. What should Thompson do? A. Tag out the crane and report the leak immediately. B. Proceed as instructed since pressure and motion remain normal. C. Tighten fittings and check again after the lift. D. Document the issue in the logbook and continue operation cautiously. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1412 D1 mandates that any indication of hydraulic leaks must be addressed before operation. Even minor seepage can indicate seal failure and lead to catastrophic failure under load. Tagging out the equipment and initiating maintenance ensures compliance and safety. Proceeding, documenting, or self-repairing violates lockout-tagout principles and crane manufacturer safety guidance. Question 4. In the context of lifting operations near a high-rise mechanical shaft, Mr. Dunbar is relying on hand signals from a signal person who becomes briefly obscured from view. During this time, an HVACR compressor is mid-air. Mr. Dunbar hesitates but then continues the lift, assuming all is clear. What is the most appropriate protocol? A. Pause the lift and re-establish visual contact with the signal person before proceeding. B. Continue lifting at a slow rate until the signal person becomes visible again. C. Use guesswork based on previous signals since the path appears clear. D. Yell instructions to ground personnel for confirmation. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1419 F requires the operator to stop operations anytime the signal becomes unclear. Continuing, a lift without confirmation risks collisions and severe injury. Audible yelling is not a substitute for proper signaling or communication. Only re-establishing clear communication complies with regulations. This scenario evaluates situational awareness and adherence to standardized signaling protocols. Question 5. Throughout the course of a rooftop chiller lift, a sudden lightning storm begins approaching. Lynn, the crane operator, is midway through slewing the load into final position. The site supervisor insists the storm is still 10 minutes away and urges her to finish the placement. What is the correct course of action? A. Quickly complete the lift and lower the load to avoid delay. B. Immediately stop the lift and lower the load to a safe resting place. C. Continue only if the lightning is not visible or audible. D. Halt movement and hold the load suspended until the storm passes. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. According to OSHA 1926.1418 D and ANSI B.5, operations must cease immediately when electrical storms are present. Metal cranes are excellent lightning conductors. The load must be placed safely, not suspended. Operators must make autonomous safety decisions regardless of supervisor pressure. This question probes emergency judgment and regulatory knowledge. Question 6. From a practical standpoint, understanding the role of a crane's anti-two-block device is critical when lifting HVAC units in confined urban environments. What is the primary function of this safety component? A. To prevent the boom from being overextended beyond rated angles. B. To alert the operator when the hook approaches the boom tip, preventing damage or failure. C. To regulate load weight based on boom length and angle. D. To automatically adjust load angles for asymmetrical units. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The anti-two-block device prevents the hook block from contacting the boom tip, which can snap cables or damage sheaves, risking catastrophic failure. OSHA 1926.1416 1 mandates its presence in most cranes. It's not related to regulating angles or load weight, but to vertical safety. Understanding this protects against mechanical failure due to operator oversight. Question 7. As demonstrated by Istakaram's experience hoisting custom HVAC duct section into penthouse enclosure with less than 4 inches clearance on all sides, what key adjustment can assist with precise final placement? A. Use of tag iron for side control while relying solely on boom rotation. B. Deployment of spreader bar with fine length adjustable slings for micro-alignment. C. Adding counterweight to the duct for shifting the center of gravity. D. Lowering the unit at full boom extension to reduce horizontal swing. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Spreader bars help maintain load balance and reduce side loading. Adjustable slings allow for micro-adjustments essential in tight spaces. OSHA 1926.251 and industry rigging best practices recommend precision tools for confined placements. Counterweights may misalign the center of gravity, and increasing boom extension reduces control. This question tests real-world precision rigging under tight tolerances. Question 8. Upon closer examination of a crane's performance, Mr. Ellis notices slow response in boom elevation and inconsistent speed in the hoist winch. No air codes appear and fluid levels are nominal. What is the most probable root cause? A. The crane is overloaded and under mechanical stress. B. The hydraulic fluid is contaminated or degraded. C. The crane's electrical system has failed. D. The rigging configuration is incorrect. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Slow or erratic hydraulic movement without air codes or overload usually points to degraded or contaminated hydraulic fluid. This impacts valve performance and system pressure. OSHA and manufacturer guidelines stress routine hydraulic maintenance. Electrical failures or rigging issues wouldn't selectively affect multiple hydraulic functions. This question evaluates deeper technical diagnostics. Question 9. Considering the evidence a crane operator and HVAC crew are positioning a rooftop air handler, communication is handled via two-way radios. Mid-lift, an installer on the roof shouts contradictory instructions to those being relayed by the signal person on the ground. What is the correct action by the operator? A. Follow the ground signal person per the original plan. B. Obey the loudest voice to avoid confusion. C. Stop the lift until communication is clarified and roles reaffirm. D. Proceed using personal judgment based on the load's position. Answer. Correct answer. See explanation. OSHA 1926.1419 mandates one designated signal person. Any confusion or conflicting commands must result in an immediate stop. Continuing. A lift under conflicting directions increases risk. Role clarity, especially in multi-level coordination, is essential. This question assesses communication protocol and adherence to hierarchy. Question 10. To what degree does the presence of overhead power lines near a lift zone increase operational risk, and what is the minimum safe distance a crane boom must maintain under OSHA for lines rated 50? A. It introduces negligible risk if spotters are used. A minimum 5 feet distance. B. Risk is significant. A minimum 10 feet clearance is mandatory. C. Only insulated cranes apply. Maintain 15 feet regardless. D. It's secondary risk if flagging the zone is sufficient. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1408 mandates a minimum clearance of 10 feet for lines up to 50. Overhead lines are a major electrocution hazard. Spotters do not substitute minimum distance. Risk assessment includes line voltage, boom reach, and environmental factors. Proper planning includes de-energizing or rerouting lines. This tests regulatory comprehension and hazard prioritization. Question 11. During setup, Mr. Jenkins prepares to lift a 4,200 EBIT HVAC package unit using a truck-mounted crane on a slight grade. Outriggers are fully deployed, but the front of the crane still exhibits a mild oscillation during a test boom swing. What is the most compliant and safe next step? A. Proceed with the lift cautiously since outriggers are deployed. B. Install cribbing beneath the front outriggers to improve leveling. C. Relocate the crane to level ground and redeploy outriggers. D. Lower the boom to reduce leverage before lifting again. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1402 C requires cranes to be set up on firm, level surfaces. A slope even with outriggers deployed can compromise stability due to shifting center of gravity. Cribbing cannot compensate for poor site selection unless verified by a qualified person. The safest and compliant method is repositioning the crane to level ground. Question 12. Before a multi-crane lift involving two cranes sharing a 12,000 HVAC assembly, the lift director assigns roles and defines the pick sequence. However, the manufacturer data for the unit is incomplete and actual weight distribution is unknown. What must be done before continuing? A. Estimate center of gravity and proceed cautiously under supervision. B. Reduce the weight by removing HVAC panels and retry. C. Suspend the operation until verified engineering data is acquired. D. Proceed with a test lift and adjust based on unit movement. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1432 and ANSI-SP.1 prohibit multi-crane lifts without precise load data. Unknown weight distribution can lead to unequal loading and tip over. Test lifts under uncertain conditions are unsafe. Only halting the lift until verified data is available ensures full compliance and safe execution. Question 13. During lifting, Mr. Graham notices that the hoist line develops sudden jerking motion while hoisting an HVAC condenser unit. What is the most likely cause of this behavior? A. The crane is exceeding rated load limits. B. The boom is not fully extended. C. The load line has crossed itself or is spooling improperly. D. The hydraulic outriggers are not fully deployed. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Jerking motion in the hoist line often indicates improper line spooling or cross-winding, which creates tension surges. OSHA 1926.1413 requires inspection of rope and drum compatibility. Improper spooling leads to uneven load movement and can damage the wire rope. Load limit or boom extension wouldn't cause erratic line tension alone. Question 14. In a congested downtown lift, using radios and spotters, a second contractor's signal person begins interfering by issuing crane commands. What should the crane operator do under OSHA guidelines? A. Ignore the interference and continue following the original signal person. B. Stop all lifting operations immediately and resolve the communication breakdown. C. Proceed with the more experienced person's signals. D. Use hand signals only to avoid further confusion. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1419 F and G require stopping operations if signal clarity is compromised. Any conflicting signals must result in a shutdown until communications are restored and the designated signal person is identified. Continuing under confusion invites hazard and non-compliance. Question 15. While hoisting a heavy HVACR load, the operator observes that the boom tip deflects downward more than anticipated, although the crane is rated for the weight. What is the most appropriate response? A. Abort the lift and inspect the boom for potential damage or overflexing. B. Compensate by lowering the load faster to relieve stress. C. Continue lifting. Slight boom deflection is normal. D. Shorten the load radius to reduce deflection. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Excessive deflection may indicate overloading, fatigue, or mechanical failure in progress. OSHA 1926.1413 mandates pre- and post-lift inspection of structural components. Continuing the lift risks boom collapse. Only full inspection after stopping ensures compliance and safety. Question 16. You operating crane in restricted urban area where the HVAC load passes over public sidewalks. What is the OSHA mandated protocol in this case? A. Proceed cautiously, but use extra signal persons and spotters. B. Ensure the area is barricaded and public access restricted before lifting. C. Use flaggers to direct pedestrians away during the lift. D. Suspend lifts during public hours and only lift at night. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1424A requires exclusion zones below suspended loads. Public walkways under the load must be physically barricaded and access denied. Spotters or flaggers do not replace hard barriers. This question tests understanding of public hazard zones during crane operations. Question 17. During lift planning, you learn the rooftop HVAC unit has a large surface area. Forecasts predict sustained winds of 22 miles per hour with occasional 30 miles per hour gusts. Under OSHA and ASME standards, what should be the response? A. Proceed cautiously monitoring the gusts. B. Continue but reduce lifting speed. C. Postpone the lift until wind speeds drop within safe operational limits. D. Use additional tag lines and stabilizers. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Wind creates sail effect and instability. OSHA defers to manufacturer limits and SB 0.53 2.1 recommends suspending lifts above 20 miles per hour unless specifically engineered. Taglines help control but cannot overcome high wind force on large surface areas. Safe wind thresholds must be respected. Question 18. An experienced rigger insists the HVAC unit is safe to lift despite the slings lacking visible tags. As the crane operator, what must you do? A. Trust the rigger's judgment and proceed. B. Proceed if the slings appear undamaged. C. Refuse to lift until slings with proper identification and capacity tags are used. D. Use secondary straps to back up the current rigging. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.251A1 requires all rigging to have permanent identification showing capacity, manufacturer, and material. No tag means non-compliance. Operators are personally responsible for load safety. Proceeding without tags risks enforcement actions and incident liability. Question 19. While relocating a rooftop air handler with a mobile crane, the operator slews the load quickly across the arc. The suspended unit starts to swing laterally and twist on the rigging. What is the primary concern in this situation? A. Damaging the crane's hydraulic motor. B. Creating dynamic load exceeding static capacity. C. Misaligning the HVAC unit's condensate drain. D. Causing ground instability under outriggers. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Sudden or rapid movement introduces dynamic load forces, which may exceed static ratings and cause failure. OSHA and SB.5 prohibit jerky or swinging motion during lifts, even if the static weight is within limits. Dynamic effects drastically increase stress. This evaluates understanding of mechanical physics in crane ops. Question 20. After switching to a longer boom configuration to reach a setback rooftop, an operator notices that the rated capacity at 60 feet of boom is significantly less than at 40 feet. Why does this occur? A. Longer booms reduce mechanical leverage and increase moment load. B. Longer booms are made of lighter material, reducing strength. C. Longer booms increase cable friction. D. Boom length has no effect on rated load. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. As boom length increases, the moment arm distance x load increases, reducing stability and load capacity. OSHA 1926.1417 and manufacturer load charts reflect this decrease. Longer booms are more susceptible to tipping due to increased leverage, not material or friction. This tests fundamental understanding of crane physics. Question 21. A crane operator is preparing a lift using a 70-foot boom at a 30-foot radius. The load chart specifies a maximum capacity of 7,000 pounds at this configuration. The HVAC load weighs 6,900 pounds. What additional factor must be accounted for before confirming the lift is within safe limits? A. The number of signal persons on site. B. Boom tip deflection. C. Weight of the rigging and hook block. D. Crane tire pressure. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1417 requires operators to include all components suspended below the boom tip. This includes the rigging, hook block, and auxiliary equipment. When calculating total load weight, if the rigging and hook block add 200 plus pounds, the lift could exceed capacity. Ignoring this is frequent cause of overloading incidents. Question 22. During a blind roofed HVAC lift, the operator loses radio contact with the signal person mid-hoist. What is the operator required to do? A. Continue lifting until the signal is regained. B. Switch to hand signals and finish the lift. C. Immediately stop the lift until communication is re-established. D. Proceed with assistance from a nearby rigger. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Per OSHA 1926.1419G, if communication is interrupted during lifting operations, the operator must stop operations immediately until clear and effective communication is restored. Lifting without visibility or communication in a blind pick scenario is a severe safety violation. Question 23. An operator is working on soft soil using a mobile crane with fully extended outriggers. The crew did not use outrigger pads or cribbing. What hazard does this create? A. The boom may not fully extend. B. Excessive vibration will reduce boom capacity. C. Outriggers may sink and destabilize the crane. D. Wind load will increase dramatically. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1402 B mandates firm, stable ground without outrigger pads or cribbing on soft soil. The crane's outriggers may sink during the lift, causing loss of stability. This is leading cause of crane tip-overs on construction sites. Question 24. A large HVAC unit is being lifted in gusty conditions. The crew uses a tag line to control rotation. Which of the following is not a compliant tag line practice? A. Keeping the tag line attached throughout the hoisting operation. B. Holding the tag line while standing under the suspended load. C. Controlling swing during wind-induced motion. D. Standing clear of pinch points while guiding the load. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1425 C. Prohibits employees from being under suspended loads. Holding a tag line while standing underneath the load is a major hazard. Tag lines should always be used from a safe position, ensuring control without exposure. Question 25. During a pre-lift inspection, the operator notices 6 broken wires in one lay length on the main hoist rope. What action must be taken? A. Lubricate the rope and monitor it weekly. B. Continue use and notify a competent person. C. Remove the rope from service immediately. D. Reduce lifting speed to minimize stress. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1413A2 Omanto requires that any wire rope with 6 or more broken wires in one lay be removed from service immediately. Continuing to use compromised rope risks catastrophic failure and is strictly prohibited. Question 26. A general contractor demands that the crane operator continue lifting an HVAC chiller despite high crosswinds and visibility concerns. What is the operator's obligation? A. Follow the contractor's direction unless supervisor objects. B. Continue the lift but increase tagline usage. C. Refuse to lift if conditions are unsafe. D. Record the objection in the site log and proceed. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1418A grants the operator authority to stop operations if safety is compromised. No one can overrule the operator when hazardous conditions exist. Pressure from a contractor does not justify unsafe operations. Question 27. Who is allowed to give signals to the crane operator during critical HVAC placement operations? A. Any trained employee. B. Only the site safety officer. C. The person designated prior to the lift. D. The project superintendent. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. According to OSHA 1926.1420, only a designated signal person, qualified and assigned for the specific lift, is allowed to direct crane operations. Random or conflicting signaling can lead to miscommunication and accidents. Question 20. A boom angle sensor malfunctions, showing an incorrect angle during an HVAC rooftop lift. The operator relies on this data to interpret the load chart. What should be done? A. Estimate angle using visual alignment. B. Continue lifting but reduce load by 10%. C. Stop operations and have the system repaired or replaced. D. Use the crane's load moment indicator as backup. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1415 requires functional boom angle indicators when operating with a load chart dependent on angle. Without accurate boom angle data, the operator cannot safely determine rated capacity. The lift must be suspended until the device is restored. Question 29. While rigging a rooftop unit, the load line swings near a 12-volt overhead power line due to whine. The boom tip is 18 feet away. What is the correct action? A. Halt the lift until clearance meets OSHA minimum. B. Continue if the distance is acceptable for 12-volt. C. Ground the load line and continue lifting. D. Use an observer to guide the boom past the power line. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1408 requires a minimum 20 feet clearance from power lines under 350 unless the exact voltage is known, and a table is used at 12 the required distance is at least 10 feet, but site conditions wind swing justify exceeding that. Since it's under 20 feet, the lift must stop until resolved. Question 30. An operator notices the bubble in the crane's level indicator is slightly off-center before high-capacity HVAC lift. What should be the operator's next step? A. Proceed as long as the deviation is small. B. Level the crane using outriggers and recheck the indicator. C. Ignore the bubble. A visual check is enough. D. Use only the load chart for guidance. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.1402 C1 requires cranes to be level before lifting. A slight offset in the level indicator can result in unequal loading and tipping. Outriggers should be adjusted until the crane is precisely level, and the lift should only begin after a checking.